Chaos and Comedy, where we explore life on the spectrum.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jennifer.
In each episode, we dive deep into life surrounding neurodivergence, exploring the complex and often comical dynamics between society, family, education, and more.
Through building understanding, we hope to build a community, so like and subscribe for more chaos and comedy as we explore life behind the scenes of neurodiversity.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jennifer. And we're in
sunny,
beautiful, peaceful Hawaii.
Yes, on the island of Oahu.
The only place that I get peace and feel grounded.
There we go. Today is Mother's Day, so I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you and blessings to all the moms out there. And moms comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors, and genders, because I know moms that are sometimes male, and I know dads who are sometimes female. It's about being there for your kid and being their person. And sometimes it also means being both mom and dad. So, to Jennifer, happy Mother's Day, gift.
Thank you. I was gonna bring something up today.
Okay.
That I made you wait to hear.
Okay.
Because I realized that I don't remember the last time that all of my children were not only just speaking to me on Mother's Day, but like we're in a good place all on the same day.
All on the same day.
And that day happens upon Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I woke up this morning and I thought about that. It was like the first thing that hit me because I picked up my phone and I had like 14 messages, something crazy, which was not what I usually wake up to. And, it was so many from my kids. It's like, and it started last night. My daughter texted me last night. She's in a different time zone, so she and I have a midnight thing. So I knew when she texted me that it was because it was midnight there, and then first thing this morning, 6:30 our time here.
6:30 our time here.
Yeah, you were getting a phone call, and another one of my kids was. I got a text from, and it was just like. I've had the best Mother's Day, and here's the thing about that, like moms like me don't take that for granted because our kids are the most some of the most challenging out there, and raising them doesn't like stop for a holiday.
No, it does not.
Everybody doesn't just put on their happy face and their best clothes on a holiday when you have kids like mine.
Yeah.
And so when they were growing up, I would get really frustrated because I had this idea in my mind of like what Mother's Day was supposed to look like for me. And it didn't look like that. And I spent a lot of years being really frustrated, sad. Like you kind of go through a mourning. You have all these mothers out there, and it's just worse now that it's on social media. Because all the mothers who are Karens, they're all like, oh, my children are so perfect, and my children did all these things for me, and you're like, yeah, fuck you. My kids said fuck you to me today. They didn't care. And it's like. You go through a mourning, and a lot of just being a mom of kids like this is a mourning because there was this idea of what your kids were going to be like, what motherhood was going to be like, what building a family was going to look like. And everybody goes through, like, I think, a shattering, I say to people, don't even talk to parents about parenting if you haven't had kids. Yeah. Just stop because you have not gone through a level of development yet in the human experience that you can only go through by being a parent. So I don't care if you're 50 years old. If you were never a parent, you can't talk about it. I don't care if you're a teacher. I don't care if I had a million kids, as a teacher or daycare provider or whatever. You weren't a parent. You got to take time off. You got to go home. You got to take a break when it was too much. You could choose not to be a teacher. You could choose not to do whatever, right? Parenting, being a parent, you don't get to choose not to.
Yes.
So, I'm sad for all the people who think that they can speak on parenting when they've, never been a parent, because you just don't know what you don't know. You don't know those moments. And then when you're a special needs parent, it's a whole nother level.
Well,
so if you're a parent, go
ahead.
ahead, talk about parenting from your perspective, right? But the level of insensitivity, shit that they'll say that's like, you see it on social media and you hear them saying it to each other. You might even be in a group with friends, and you're all sitting around, and then they'll start talking about something, and like, they know you're a special needs parent. They know who your kids are, but they forget themselves. And then they'll start talking about something, with kids' behavior or manners or whatever. And you're like, yeah.
Well, I think that
no.
I like the way you said that, and especially on being that it's Mother's Day, I think that's a great thing for us to talk about. Is because the parents you're right. There's levels and degrees to this. For people who don't have children who will speak to you about parenting, those parents who are not parents of neurodivergent children will speak to you about parenting, and then the grandparents and the teachers and everyone will throw in their opinion. I think what at least my experience has been is that you have to understand and appreciate that what looks like a win for a parent of a just typical child as versus a parent of a neurodivergent child, a win looks different. Happiness looks different.
Yeah, and it's really hard for us to properly celebrate our wins on social media like they can.
Yes.
Like how do I explain to you what a win it was, last night? There's no way for me to capture a feeling. There's no way to there is, but it's a lot harder than with a typical kid, right? So yesterday, I had the most peaceful day I've ever had with Jack. For the whole day, it was crazy. We dropped his friend off at the airport early in the morning. Well, I say we, but it was you. And then, got up and, Jack goes like the Energizer Bunny. He never stops. And I was old when I had him. And so I'm just fucking tired. I'm tired all the time with him. And I feel guilty and I feel bad because I don't have the energy I had with the older ones. And here he needs the most energy out of all of them. But, it is what it is. And he's learning character building and all the things that they hate me saying. But we literally just hung all day. And, typical parents, they get to hang whatever they want.
Yeah.
I know, because my mom, even though I was not neurotypical, she raised me as I was. So I was just kind of beat into submission. So she kind of, I'm sure it didn't feel like a typical experience for her. I'm sure it was really hard to raise me, but I know because I watch other parents, I watch, everything, and being a kid where it's just we hung a lot. We just hung and just chilled. And, no expectation of going somewhere, being entertained, doing something, play a game with me, do this, do that. I need somebody to play with. I need to be occupied. I need to whatever. Totally not my growing up, and I know a lot of parents who are able to do that with their kids. I don't know neurotypical parents who are able to do that with their kids, because it's constant on whether or not they, Jack's needs are, he needs to be occupied, he needs to be moving, he needs to be doing something, he needs his brain occupied all the time. But it doesn't have to look like that, right? It can be that your kid is a wanderer and you're constantly on your feet, you're constantly making sure that they don't run out the yard. You gotta, constantly make sure that having neurodiverse kids is they never grow out of toddlerhood in some way or other. It's when they're toddlers, you're constantly running after them, or constantly apologizing for their rude behavior because they say stuff and do stuff, and you're sorry. But everybody looks at a toddler and they're oh, they're cute, right? But when they continue that behavior, past the age appropriate time, then people start giving you looks, right? And so I never get to hang. That's probably our, one of our biggest struggles with Jack is not being able to just relax. And so I find opportunities where I can take a couple hours and him be occupied, take him to an indoor adventure park, or whatever. And that's how we found Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, a couple years ago we found Hawaii and we brought him here, and all of a sudden his mind quieted.
Yeah.
And we saw him do things that we'd never seen him do before, like just lay down and color for a couple hours, and we were who is this kid?
Yeah. Or
we saw him go to the beach and he'd be in the water all day long with the waves, and
it causes you to, and for me, I'm going to speak for myself, I had to learn how to remeasure on what I thought all that was. Because I think you can have a neurodivergent child and have successes, but what you have to have as a parent is your measuring tool has to be a lot different than what you think it is. And I had to teach myself that. And I can only imagine, because as you came up through all this and you were learning on the go, so your measuring stick was constantly evolving.
Well, and not only that, but the measuring stick that my mom gave me.
Mm-hmm. Was it the one that you could actually use?
Definitely, if I was using that to measure my success as a parent or my children's success, we're colossal failures. And that's too bad, because that's a real disservice, and it really misses out on the gifts of them. And probably my biggest regret, of my oldest ones is seeing how I measure success now in children and my own children, and how I missed how many successes they had, my older ones had, when they were coming up, because I was measuring with the
wrong measuring stick.
Yeah. So I guess that, I think that now I wish I could go back and measure them.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel the same way. I see now, I look at it now, and I feel like I'm a better parent because I'm more aware of that what someone is trying to do is their way of showing me love. Whereas as a younger parent and having the measuring stick that I brought into it about what success was, I wasn't measuring all that. And I realize now that, especially my older kids were trying to show love the way they could. And now, for my younger children, they benefit from that. Mm-hmm. They benefit from my patience, and they benefit from me having a different measure. And I say that to parents out there who are struggling with your neurodivergent child. If you got a day where your little one is just content, and they're content and just
just
doing anything.
Take it in.
Take it in.
Don't You know what one of my biggest frustrations with myself was that I would take those moments when I was younger and I'd be like, oh my God, finally I have an opportunity to clean, do this, do that, do this, do that. Right? Get things done that I usually don't have time to get done. And now I'm just like, fuck that shit. You know what? I'm going to take this moment to recharge my brain.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this moment to recharge me so that, you know, when this moment's over, I've refilled my own like patience and tolerance and, you know, love buckets and everything. And last night, you know, like we had a full on day of it, which was so unusual. And I came inside, it was just him and me, and he was just chilling on the couch. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna go upstairs and maybe watch a movie or something in my room. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. I mean, maybe later. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. Just wanted you to know that you were invited. And he was like, okay, thanks. And then I'm like halfway up the stairs and I go, hey, Jack. And he goes, yeah. And I go, I had a really great day with you today. And then I took a couple more steps. There's this pause. And then he goes, yeah, I really did too, Mom. And it's like, it sounds so simple and so dumb that I'm like making a big deal about this. But like, for Jack, for him to say that having a napping day, first of all, that he had a really great day with me, I'm like, wait, what? Because usually I'll be like, this was a nice day, right? And he'll be like, no, this was horrible. We did nothing. I was bored all day. You know, like, he'll just be really angry. And so that, not coming, you know, or the best I'll get is, or thanks.
Yeah.
You know, because he doesn't know, like, he's either not thrilled about it or frustrated and he was just tolerating it, or he's like doesn't know how to reciprocate. You know, so it's just kind of like I've constantly had to teach my kids, like I'll say something to them like, I love you, and then they'll go, thanks. Now's when you say I love you too, and then they go, oh okay, I love you too, right? So usually, you know, I'll say something and then they'll say something like and I'll be like, had a good day with you too, Mom. Oh yeah, had a good day with you too, Mom. But he just did it, and I was like so happy when I went to bed.
I think that part of that, and Tim Pitt from the,
I really hope that our background noise is like.
I hope that we can. Well, it's Sunday, Mother's Day, and so I'm assuming somebody is showing their love and appreciation for their by doing yard work for their mom.
Yeah,
but
God, I hope so. This is super annoying.
I think that when you talk about the measuring stick, but also it's you have to recalibrate on what love is, and if you have the ability to do that, especially your neurodivergent child will teach you how to love any and everything, because when they the moment you described, that's a great moment.
Like typical parents get that shit all the time.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean? They've been getting it since they were teaching their toddlers, like we all were.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because we all have to teach them the appropriate like response mechanism. But the difference between them and me is that I'm still teaching it well into. I mean, I'm still having to say to Bubba, he's 26 years old. You know, like, hey Bub, love you, and he's like, I love you too, Mom, and he's like, oh yeah, love you too, Mom. You know, he's 26 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so like it never stops us socializing our kiddos, you know, and helping them understand what something means when somebody says this, or what my face looks like, or you know, why they feel a certain type of way when they walk into a room. That's, you know, an energy shift, you know, like those are the things that we have to name everything for them.
Yes.
You know, and then we have to wait for them. Like the best thing and the hardest thing is so much repetition to get them to learn something, right? So that's the hardest thing, is it takes an incredible amount of repetition to get them to understand emotion, social engagement, those kind of things. But then the best part is once they get it, like they never forget it,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, it's like in a vault somewhere where, you know, that never stopped happening. But you also learn, like you said, how to appreciate that it's the tiniest little moments,
Yeah.
you know, and like I can't sit with my like girlfriends or coworkers. I mean, well, my coworkers are different, but
Yeah.
I could with them. But typical, right? Typical parent. I mean, not typical parents, but parents who have kids like ours. You know, you can go to the police department and be like, you know, coolest thing happened last night.
No, it's a different.
Jack said, me too. You know, like, and they look at you like, yeah, that's the expected response. What the fuck? You know, like, why are you celebrating that, dude? Because just
It makes you such a more complete, in my opinion, such a more complete person, because when I'm with everyone else now, the thing, it's a word I used to say all the time, but I don't really know if I actually gave it or received it, because I didn't really know what it meant. But being a stepfather and being a father of children who are neurodivergent, I have a better appreciation of what grace actually means.
yeah,
You know, when I receive grace and when I'm giving grace, because that I appreciate effort more.
oh yeah,
Because, you know, when your kid is neurodivergent and they're trying.
Yeah.
When you're trying and you're watching them try to self-regulate, when it's one of the most, we as adults can't do it.
Yeah.
But we hear this neurodivergent kid trying to
regulate,
so that they can please you.
I know.
So no matter what it is, you have a greater appreciation of it. So blessings, I mean, I'm better, my opinion, I'm a better overall person because of that, because I look at things, I measure things,
But I think,
happiness a lot different than I did before.
yeah, but also I think that you have to be open to it, right? So, like, there's a lot of parents who just get frustrated that it's not the vision they had.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, I struggled through that. But also, the faster you can get to the other side of acceptance, you know, and like, that's why I say it's a mourning, because it's okay to mourn. It's okay to say, this was not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm, you know, just like in death, you know, it's like, there's the shock, you know, there's the bargaining, there's the anger, there's the sadness, right? But the faster you can get to, so like go through those. Don't fight them, because it's okay. It's part of the human experience, you know, to be it's part of the human experience to be disappointed and mourn things the way that we thought they were going to be. And if we don't go through that process, then we don't actually get to acceptance. You know, we're just like, we're pretending, you know, or going through the motions or whatever. And it doesn't mean that you're mourning that this is your child. You know, that's the other thing. It's like a lot of people don't talk about that. They don't say this out loud. You know, it's almost like you're supposed to not be a normal human, you know, that because you had neurodivergent children, so you're not supposed to say things like, yeah, I mourned this. That doesn't mean that I
don't love your child.
Or that I am disappointed that they are mine.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I can legitimately say at this point, like, and the moment I had them, even through struggles, and now, that there has never been a day where I was like, oh, I can't believe this is what I got for kids. But I can also say, this was not what I thought it was going to be. This was not what I thought I was signing up for.
Yeah.
You know, and now I said, and we all say it, right? Oh, we'll accept our child no matter what.
As long as they're healthy.
You know, as long as they're healthy. I mean, even if they're not healthy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, as if what? You're not going to accept them if they're not healthy?
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Like, oh, you girl or boy, what do you want? I just want a healthy child.
I know, that's the stupidest thing to say.
Yeah.
I just want a healthy child. What?
It is.
Okay, and if your child's not, then you're like, what? I think that it, just because I'm acknowledging that this wasn't what I expected it to be, that's going to help me as a young parent get to the point where I am now, which is, you know, the whole acceptance and the celebration. Like, the best gift I have now is that I'm not just saying that my kids' ADHD or their autism or the struggles they have are gifts. I really mean it, because I have searched for how is that a gift, you know, for you. And now I get to see them, because I always believed, before I even had children, I always believed if you have a disability, that means something else is heightened.
Yes.
You know, so if you're blind, your other senses are more heightened. If you're deaf, then your other senses are more heightened. You see the world differently than maybe we see it because you can't hear it, right? So whatever the deficit is, it like funnels into something else. And so I always believed that people who had any disability, then that was like funneled somewhere else. And so when I started looking at it like that with my kids, I was like, okay, let's find out, where did it go then? Because it's not like, oh, we just don't have it somewhere. It's just somewhere else in you. And so I don't just say, dude, no, it's superpower. I like legit am like, no, I need you to hear me. We've just got to find where your superpower is, because that's super cool. And when we find it, you're going to be like, whoa, I do have a superpower.
It's encouraging, it's uplifting your child, it uplifts yourself, it's causing you to look at it. And just for all those parents out there, for regular, you know, typical children who are not neurodivergent, if you can look at your child that way, because everybody's different. We think we know what somebody's life is like. You have no idea. We're blessed. There are kids out there, families out there with children who are way more severe in their disabilities than I can even imagine. And they have to go through things. So I'm just saying, you have to be able to, not to try to measure what you have against what somebody else has.
Right.
You got to find like you said, you got to find that superpower.
Find out what the superpower is in any disability or in any challenge. And why are we here? Why not be like, oh, how did this happen? Why do we have autism, or why do we have ADHD? You know, whatever. Not that in that way, but like, there's a reason here. There's a reason I'm this kid's mom.
Yeah.
There's a reason I was chosen to do this. And so, you know, taking that and trying to figure out what the superpower is in it. You know, God has a plan for every single one of us. None of us were a mistake, right? So every single one of these kids who's created is created this way for a reason. And it's just like when, you know, the biggest sports star becomes a quadriplegic, you know, and they have a choice. Do I wallow in my self-pity of how was I the biggest sports star in the world and now I can't even do anything but talk, and I never used to talk, I just did sports, right? Yeah. Or they can go, well, this sucks. And like I said, go through the morning. Go through it. That's okay. But also understand that there's a reason. There's a reason that we're their mom.
Yeah.
You know, like, that doesn't mean I don't have days where I'm just like, okay, God, cool. Perfect. I love, you know what? I know. Thank you for all of this. But it also is what reminds me, you know, because I go, okay, but I also am not doing this alone.
Yeah.
Because if I do believe in God, then I understand that He's got me.
Yeah.
You know, and then I can stop feeling so pressured and feel like, oh my God, how am I going to do all this? The pressure is so much. And then it's like, no, okay, he made you their mom. But also, He's got you.
Gotcha.
So, you know, like, that didn't mean He was like, hey, I made you their mom so that I could kick you all to the curb. Good luck! You know?
Listen, iron sharpens iron. I think that being a parent of a neurodivergent child makes me better with other children. Makes me be better with other people.
Yeah.
And I believe that iron sharpens iron. You get through trial and tribulations, and that makes you the better person. I really just, this Mother's Day, speak to all those moms and dads out there who are super frustrated.
Yeah.
And I would just say change on what you think a success is. That sometimes it's get them brushing their teeth without you telling them. Sometimes it's them picking up after themselves. Sometimes it's them saying thank you when you weren't expecting.
Yeah, Mother's Day may not look for you like the social media thing, right? Mother's Day may not look for everybody the way that it looked for me this year. But you know what? My oldest kiddo is going to be 32 this year.
32.
And I think that's the first
time you thought about
it's taken 32
32
years for me to have a Mother's Day that was like the Hallmark card or the social media post. Okay, 32 years. Okay, people, like, it's okay that it doesn't look like. It's okay that it doesn't look that, and it's about the measuring stick. It's about let go of the Hallmark vision, let go of the social media vision. And start saying, what do I need to feel rejuvenated, to feel fresh, to feel good this Mother's Day? It doesn't have to mean that you're even going to spend the day with your kids. Maybe Mother's Day for you, because you work so hard with these kids all the time, maybe that means this is the day where you get to not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is, you know, maybe Mother's Day weekend in the future, you go away for the weekend and it's just you and a book and a beach and a hotel room with nobody requiring anything of you and knowing that you have a trusted person to take care of your kiddo. Maybe you don't have that person.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there too. Maybe Mother's Day for you is not today. Maybe it doesn't have to be today just because it's on the calendar today.
Yes.
Maybe, you know, last week or this week, or, you know, at some point you have a day with your kid and you go, you know what, today was Mother's Day for me. Because today was the day that I got just a beautiful day that gave me the love and the fulfillment that I needed and I wanted, you know, and who cares? It's a day on the fucking calendar. You know, like, I only have 2 of my 5 biological kids. I don't have my grandbabies. I got, you know, 5 more non-biological kids. I don't have any of them with me, right? And my favorite thing in life is being a grandma and a mom.
Yeah.
But I only got 2 with me today. But I don't really care, not because like, oh, I don't care they're not with me, but it's more like, I don't just celebrate Mother's Day today.
No.
You know, like, I'm going to see them all over the course of the next month.
Yeah.
I have times where I know I'm going to see them all and we're going to spend good time together. And you know, I know that they all were thinking of me today. For me, it'll carry me through every Mother's Day from now until the day that I die, that this 1 year, all of them were speaking to me. And not only were all of them speaking to me, but all of them are not in crisis. None of them are in crisis right now. And we're all communicating well. I can confidently say I know they all know how much I love them, and I've worried about that in the past because I won't hesitate to be in a hard time with my kid. But that means we go through holidays or things sometimes where we're not speaking. And then I worry, you know, like, do they know I love them? Do they know? Do they know? You know, just because I'm holding a consequence, or just because I'm holding a standard or an expectation, but then you have those moments where you're just like, please know how much I love you. Please know I didn't give up on you. You know, and I'm never gonna give up on you. And so, you know, for all the moms out there whose kids aren't talking to school today, for the moms out there whose kids might be in hospital, they might be in crisis today, they might be homeless, you don't know where they are, might be, you know, having some addiction issues, because that's a reality of, you know, being a mom of these kids. Understand that I see you, you know, I feel you, and I can tell you on the other side of it, with my kids coming back, them saying, I always knew you loved me. I never doubted that. So send them a message, tell them, I just want you to know I love you. Doesn't mean you can't still hold the consequence. It doesn't mean that you aren't still holding the expectation or the standard. They might say some really ugly things back to you. It's not them. That's not them right now. No. And it's okay to just say it again, because your heart needs to know that you said, don't forget how much I love you. I'm still here.
I'm still here. I'm not going to be there, because the consistency. Neurodivergent kids need consistency.
They need to hear it, even if they say they don't want to hear it. Even if they say, you know, if they blocked you or whatever, you know, then write it in a letter and put it aside so that when they do talk to you again, if you want to give it to them, you can. You know, write it down in a journal. Whatever your thing is, you know, blog it for yourself. Yeah.
Document it. Make sure you have it down, because recalibrating what you think a success is only going to help them in the long run. And I want to just say again, I agree with you 150%. Their Mother's Day is every day. And if today you don't get it, it's not a failure. Don't
like,
judge
seriously,
it
gives a fuck about the social media and the Hallmark Channel. You know, it's such a joke. And the Karens out there who are measuring your and their success based on the perfection of their children, they can't even relate to you. They have no idea what your life is, and they were given the easiest children on earth because they're not capable of doing anything more than that. So
God doesn't give you more than you can handle.
Yeah. So, you know, to all the Karens, feel free not to watch. But for the rest of us, you know, out here struggling to make it through every day with these kids, happy Mother's Day. You know, we see you.
We see you. And remember that love is not defined by something you see on Facebook. Love is defined by what you feel in here and with your child. When that child looks up to you, and it may not be today, and it may not be tomorrow, excuse me, but they know that you love them because you're there. And consistency is the key. It's the key. You continue to be consistent. And know that the people see you. We love you. We love you if no one actually vocalizes it today for you.
That's right.
Thank you for being the parents.
Being their mom.
People.
You're their mom for a reason.
Absolutely.
Hang in there.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
If you want to hear more, connect more, follow us on social.
Yeah.
And
So follow us on social. Follow us on Spectrum Us Podcast,
oh yeah,
where you can pick it up. And if you have any questions, feel free to send them out to us.
great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.